Hi everybody, Allison Gardner here. I keep trying to make these videos really well thought out and rehearsed, and what I'm finding out is that it's just not my style. So today I want to share with you some of the stressors of that depression can bring into a marriage. Now, I have been getting a little bit of feedback, some from others, some from just myself, that a lot of people could be wondering, why are you still married then? Why are you still putting up with this? There's no putting up with it. When you choose someone, you choose all of them. And you fall madly and deeply in love with that person. And even if that person only shows up once a month, if that person that you fell in love with only shows up once a year, you still chose that person and you still invested in them. And so what keeps me here is first thing is that we have seen a marked improvement over the last year. Things are better, and I see my husband more and more. I think the most that I have in our marriage. And so that is a beautiful gift. And so those good times really do help you stay invested and stay in love, even through the rough times. And I share the rough times because if you're in a dark place, if you're having a hard time, you need someone that has been there, that can relate, that at least understands some of what you're dealing with. And so there are good times in my marriage. There are beautiful things that happen in my marriage. And I'm even about to post a blog talking about some of them. So there are good things. But me wanting to be there for someone in a dark place, I guess I'm trying to share that I understand what that dark place looks like. And sometimes that dark place isn't so much of a single spot, a single place, but it's a feeling that can creep up on you and can sneak in on you even when things are good, because dark places, negative thought patterns, old thinking habits tend to not want to stay away. They want to show back up. Because they were what you reached for so long, they're what you still reach for. And so even when things are awesome, we're prepping to move right now, and we're doing quite well, if I say so myself. When all of these things are happening, then when the good happens, negative still wants to show up. And so old thought patterns have been showing up for me in the process. And one of them for me that I'm not proud of, but that I still struggle with, is open communication with my family, even now. Because for so long, I either didn't know how to talk about it, or I was asked not to. And so now, I'm still figuring out what clear communication looks like. Clear communication with my spouse, because there were times when I literally did not dare say anything because I didn't know if it would be the straw that would break a camel's back. And so I just learned to keep all of my thoughts and all of the things that were going through my head in my head, because I was afraid to let them out. And so I got so used to just being this independent person that now I still don't know sometimes how to open my mouth. I don't know how to invite other people into my joy, to be quite honest, because I'm afraid it's going to disappear. That is not healthy. I am working on it. But that's so much of the reality I lived with that now that's not my reality. I'm still not quite sure how to shift it. I'm not quite sure. And really, honestly, you just have to do it one day at a time. Like this very moment, I am trying to figure out who's going to help us move and how everything's going to come about. And I'm still not sure because it's not me making the decisions, because there's another person in my marriage helping me make those decisions. But I don't always know when the right time is to broach a subject. I don't always know, because the thing about that I've noticed as a supporter of someone with mental illness is, and probably just married in general, I don't fully understand that one, because I can't always tell the difference. What's just me learning to be more integrated with another person? What's me just learning to care and to communicate about my feelings and the feelings of the other person? And this is the black dog of depression. I did a blog about that earlier this week, so I'll put that in the link below, but that links out to that video. I don't know what that difference looks like. So for me, my experience, I can only speak to my experience, is that I can get a different answer depending on when I bring things up. And so I don't always know when the right time is to get the answer. And this is not me being manipulative. This is just me trying to figure out how to communicate. And because an answer I get at one moment could be a different answer that if I asked a week later. And so me wanting to get answers that are supportive, or me wanting to get answers that are constructive for both of us, I don't always know when to have that conversation. And so even now, I don't have answers that I feel like should be pretty easy, straightforward answers. I don't always feel comfortable sharing my plans because they are subject to change at the drop of a hat. And so I can make plans, I can have really good intentions, and they might not happen because my priority changes as it needs to. I'm now sitting here going, I don't know where I was going with that. But I guess overall, the feeling that has come most strongly to me is me, what I have learned and what I have gained from this experience, is that one, I can improve as a communicator. I still struggle with it because of things that have happened in the past. Two, empathy goes a long way. Chucking should out the window and just saying what is needed in this moment. What would be most helpful to the person that I love, the person that I prioritize, but then also the other people in my life. What is really needed? What can I do to show Christ-like care and tenderness to someone? And I would ask you, what have your thoughts been while listening to this video? Have you had rules come up, shoulds come up, things that we'll just do it this way? That was my life. That would always come up, and I finally had to realize I just had to chuck those out the window because they weren't benefiting me and they weren't benefiting my marriage. And how do you prioritize? How do you figure things out? I don't know that I have answers, and that's this other rough thing for me. The hard thing for me about sharing is that I want to have beautiful little answers. I want to have beautiful packages of insight, and I don't, because I'm so in the middle of it. Even in this last year that we have grown closer as a couple, our communication has gotten better, that I have more hope for new opportunities and new things coming my way. Old habits and old fears still come up for me, and I'm not perfect at it. But there is so much power that comes from trying, and so much power that comes from taking accountability. I think that was the hardest thing for me, is there was a point for me, I've mentioned being really angry, I've mentioned being very bitter, and it's because there came a point in my life where I was praying for answers, for help, for assistance that didn't come, and so I just stopped trying, and I stopped taking accountability, and I stopped taking control for what I did have control of, my emotions, my feelings, my hope. And I just said, well, if I can't have this, which was a very important and significant thing, because I can't have this, I'm just gonna step back. I'm just gonna relieve myself of all culpability, and it's not my fault. And so I claim that victim mentality. I claim that I have no power. And so I had to start taking power back. And even now, when I revert to old habits, when I revert to old things, I have to remind myself, I have accountability, I have culpability, I have control. And so if I'm not communicating things well with my family, I get to try again. If I'm not communicating well with my spouse, I get to try again. And it can be exhausting and overwhelming. But if you don't have control over your life, who does? If you don't lay claim to your emotions and your actions, no one else does either. And so ultimately, I choose culpability, I choose accountability, because I want to do better and I want to improve. And I don't want to be angry and bitter anymore. I want to be building my marriage, building up my spouse, building up myself as I choose, as I see fit, as I wish, and as I want. And so I'm going to leave you guys just with a question. What can you do that is within your control? And what is one thing you can do to cut yourself some slack? To love on yourself, to realize, yep, kind of goofed on that one, but I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep trying. Because at the end of the day, your marriage and your spouse keep happening because you just keep trying. So I hope you'll keep trying and keep moving forward. Please reach out to me. I get it. I understand that I may not know your exact circumstances, but I get what it is to come from a hard place. And I want to be there for you. Have a great day, guys. Bye.